Hi Dollar Divas, welcome back to my channel. So I'm always a little bit behind the times, as I'm sure most of you are as well, or at least we feel that way. So I was wanting to talk about what makeup trends will be in for 2025, and I found quite a few, and of course, as always with any trend, there's nothing new under the sun, and anything that is relatively good will go away and then will come back. Now, of course, I guess, I don't know if this is a younger people thing or if it's just the way it's always been. A lot of these makeup trends will be familiar to a lot of you, but of course they're being coined with new names, they're being called something different, but a lot of them will be very, very, very familiar to a lot of you, as I know a lot of them to me were like, oh, that's coming back, great. So anyways, I thought this would be fun to talk about, and I will kind of demonstrate some of them for you. Of course, using bargain makeup, because really the idea of a makeup trend is to sell product. So basically makeup companies come up with products, or they reinvent something that is older, that has kind of gone away, then they try to repackage it and sell it to you as a trend. So a makeup trend is designed to sell makeup product. Because I'm not a channel that earns commissions or tries to sell or really promote products. I just tend to share with you what I personally like or what I think is good, especially at the bargain price point. I will show you what products you can use to get some of these effects and all that good stuff. So if it sounds like you're in the right place, I do hope you'll become part of our Dollar Diva family here and join the party with us. And without any further chit chat, let's just go ahead and get into today's video. So, blush has been really, really big as of late. I feel like that's something that kind of went out of style. See, being in show business, I always wore blush, but I do feel like it kind of went out and then it really came back, like everybody was blush crazy. And apparently this year we're going to be seeing Barely There blush, where I feel like we've been seeing really heavy blush. And I'm very guilty of the whole blush blindness thing because I do work on the stage. And it also goes without saying that some people are not going to be wearing blush at all. But if they are, it will be barely there. And then the tones aren't so much in the pinks or the corals like they have been. They're going to be a little bit more on the muted mauve side and even kind of favoring into browns. So very, very like super uber natural skin tone type blushes. So this one here, this is the LA Colors in Peony Perfect. Now, my camera always shows things up as being a little bit warmer than they are, and this probably isn't the best example of, but I tend to not go towards mauve blushes for myself personally. So yeah, Barely There blush is going to be one of those things that you probably see a lot more people that are on track with the trends. You'll be seeing them doing a lot of that. For me personally, I still love my blush. And I still love my pinks and my corals and all that kind of thing. So those are going nowhere for me personally. And I love this. So another direction people are going with blush is going back to baked blushes. We've been seeing a lot of liquid blushes, a lot of cream blushes, which Dollar Tree especially has been coming out with, and I've been loving, and all the makeup companies have been coming out with, like drugstore and like high-end, have been doing a lot of cream blush products. But apparently, and this is something that I really feel kind of like you were seeing these kinds of products everywhere, but they kind of went away. It almost like they were a dirty word. But along with the muted mauves is hard to say. Along with that and like maybe perhaps the muted browns, apparently y'all, if you do have a pink or a coral blush, a baked formula is gonna be what you're gonna see a lot more of. So I've got one here that I've had for a really long time from Shop Miss A. It's a marbleized baked blush, and baked blushes tend to always have a little bit of a shimmer in them, and so that's what you're going to be seeing if you do see people wearing more of a pink or coral color. This one here is one I got at Dollar Tree. It's the Hard Candy Fox in a box. This is a marbleized baked blush. Again, just a very pearlescent shade, very ethereal. So those are things you might not see as much at Dollar Tree, but like Shop Miss A is going to probably have you covered, along with Shein and Temu and all that kind of thing. This is a blush trend I'm really actually ecstatic that is coming back, because I have been loving kind of more shimmery products lately to kind of get a glow. So yeah, you're gonna be seeing a lot more effects like this with blush. And see, again, it's a really like a light effect color-wise as well, kind of getting away from the blush blindness trend where people are really putting on some heavy blush and going towards something that's a little bit more subtle. Now, so another thing that is changing pretty heavily is contour and bronzer. Contouring became all the rage, and I feel like it really stuck around. And it got kind of crazier and more ridiculous as I'm showing you these pictures here. I've never really gotten on board with literally painting your face and then blending it in. But you're gonna see that really, really go away. Apparently it's already been gone for a little while. Again, I'm under a rock, so I don't always know these things, as I'm sure a lot of you are as well. So even bronzers are gonna be taking a hint from the blush and going a little bit more in like a shimmery, baked type of a formula. But another thing people are doing is they're using, and I'm sure, you know, you're gonna see products like this probably pop up. Probably not so much at like Dollar Tree, but you might see them on Shop Miss A or Temu. Of course, especially at like your Ultas and Sephora's, something called a BLonzer. It's a blush and a bronzer in one, but without the fancy name. This is what I'm trying to show you. You're probably not gonna have to like run out and get any of these, like buy any of these products special. Basically what they're talking about when they say a BLonzer is a shade that's not necessarily a blush shade and not necessarily a bronzer shade, but something that's kind of like right in the middle, especially like this one right here from Moyo. Something that is kind of a peachy, skin-toned, almost bronzed type of a shade. So something like that there that can be worn partially as a bronzer and a little bit more all over the face. So it really crosses the bridge between where you would put your bronzer and your blush. In Dollar Tree, you just have to look, all you have to do is look for your shades. You don't have to buy like some special product that says BLonzer, you know what I mean? So kind of the way people are applying this is just taking some of it and applying it like you would a bronzer, you know, along the sides of your face, kind of like as a light contour over your nose, even on your, like the bridge of your nose where the sun would naturally hit. A little bit more where there's a sun-kissed effect, but it's not so bronzy. Just a little bit more on the natural side. And I love this trend. This and the marbleized blush is something that I really like and can totally get down with. So apparently we're gonna be getting away from like the super dewy skin, the glass skin, which I never really did the glass skin thing or even like the super dewy look. What you're gonna be seeing a lot more is what they call cloud skin. Basically, I feel it's just a fancy name for saying like a more of a satin finish. You know, and that's basically where I usually try to put my skin. I don't like my skin super dewy, but I don't really like my skin super matte either. And I might even be able to take away some of the shine just using a little bit of a powder. You're probably gonna start seeing, like if you go into like some of the, you know, the higher end stores, powders that are not marketed as matte, but as like maybe a semi-matte or a satin finish. But you can really achieve it with what you have just by going with a lighter hand. See, my skin is neither dewy nor matte. So, like I said, you can still use your powders. You just wanna go with a lighter hand. And even if you have to compensate with a little bit of like a highlighter, like one that's not so super shimmery, to add back a little bit of dewiness if you go a little overboard with your powder. So cloud skin, which is in my book, kind of a satin finish, is supposed to be all the rage this year. So this is something I've actually been like unintentionally doing this last year or two with liquid shadow when I am at work doing my shows. I've been just doing kind of basically a one and done with LA Colors liquid shadows. Of course, so you can use liquid shadows, you can use shimmer shadows. You could really even use like a matte shadow. Actually, I'm gonna get into the next trend in a minute, and it's gonna be talking more about matte shadows. But again, you don't need to buy any special products. And I've actually had a lot of people that have been requesting one and done eyeshadow looks. I just feel like it doesn't really warrant a video on itself because it's just easy. I'm gonna do one right now for you. So like I said, you don't really need a special product for this. You just need, like, I think really the way a traditional one and done shadow look is done is kind of like a statement. So it's like usually using something kind of shimmery, or even like if you buy like a beautiful duochrome or multi-chrome shadow, and I've got a couple, or you can use like a shimmer shadow. So like I said, LA Colors makes these beautiful liquid shadows that are just to die for. Or you can use shimmery shadows, and these are some of my favorites. So the LA Colors 6 pans, newly reformulated, have some beautiful shimmery shades. So if you wanted to do like a kind of more of like a bluish, or like that's kind of like a duochrome right there. That one there's more like a periwinkle shimmer. Or you could do like a beautiful like gold, or you could do like one of these shimmers right here. I'm trying to think of which direction I'm gonna go today. I might just, and the beauty is you can use your finger. So I'm gonna go into the LA Colors Almost Nude palette right here, and I'm just gonna put some of this on my finger and swipe it on my lid, and then we're gonna blend it with a brush. So this is like I said, I've been doing this in work with liquid shadows, the liquid shadows. See, and there you go. It's just a simple one and done. Like I said, this doesn't really warrant a video on its own because it's such an easy step. But gone are the days, apparently, and now I'm not gonna stop doing this because I do love eyeshadow, but or the days of the complicated eyeshadow looks and the cut crease and all the, so if you were never really good at that, I mean, you can just do this and nobody is gonna say anything to you, except you are gonna have caught up with the trends apparently. But one and done shadow looks, again, they're nothing new. I'm glad they didn't try to rename it something fancy. It's just something that we forgot about, and probably not the general public, but people on social media forgot that that's probably what the general public does anyway, is a one and done makeup look. So you know how that is with trends, so just blend that up right there. Like I said, you could do this with a duochrome, would be beautiful. I have a couple that I've purchased and get like a beautiful like shifty effect. Or you could use, like I said, liquid shadows. And then kind of going with that trend, something else that is coming back is another one and done trend, but specifically with matte pastel shadows. And they're calling this trend modern retro pastel eyes. So basically, it's exactly what it sounds like. You basically just take a pastel eyeshadow and swipe it on your eye and do a one and done. Apparently the color that's gonna be really, really big is pastel blue. And Dollar Tree has some stuff, although you're probably not gonna be able to find them super, super easily. So I found, and I only found these at a Dollar Tree out of town, these Sweet Shop eyeshadow quads. There's 3 of them. One of them does have a, this is just one that I was able to grab. See, it's got all these pastels. I think one of them has a mint green and a pastel blue and all that kind of thing. But then you've got the Beauty Intuition pastel palette. Like this blue right here is shimmery, but also other palettes you could go into, the LA Colors 12 pants that have some of the colors in them. They're just gonna give you a light wash of color, which is really what you want, almost a watercolor effect. So I've heard a lot of people on YouTube kind of promoting the Natasha Denona like pastel palette. You don't need that. You could just use one of these like shades right here in this $1.25 palette, and there you go. You've got your pastel shade at a bargain price, and you didn't have to buy anything fancy. So I'm sure with this trend, we're gonna end up seeing a whole lot more pastel eyeshadow palettes. And like I said, you don't have to run out and buy one of those because LA Colors has you covered. So again, don't feel the need to go out and buy something if this is a trend you like. And again, another one and done eyeshadow look. This is not something I personally like for myself. I'm gonna be more on the shimmery side from my one and dones personally. As you know, me and pastels don't always get along. So apparently this is gonna be something that you start seeing. And these ones here are a little bit more of a satin finish. They're not super matte, but they're not shimmery either. Also for a one and done, a great palette you can dig into is the LA Colors 12 pan in Vogue. They've got like 4 or so different shimmery shades that would make a beautiful one and done. I don't know if fake lashes are going out or not, but as far as lash trends, there's 2. But what's gonna be really big this year apparently is brown mascara. I don't personally have any brown mascara, I'm just wearing black, but apparently brown mascara is gonna be really in for a softer look. It's gonna kind of go with the more muted lips. I've got some lip trends that they're all kind of softer looks. And then of course with your more muted bronzers, you know, more the blonzing versus bronzing, and the eradication of contouring and more muted blushes, lashes are gonna be a little bit more subdued as well. So that's why brown is gonna be really big. But also on the opposite end of that spectrum, all the beauty gurus are saying that colorful mascara is gonna be in as well, which I feel like Dollar Tree was actually ahead of this curve, because literally like 2 of their biggest brands, LA Colors and Ioni, came out with colorful mascaras last year. Ioni came out with this one here that was in pink. They have a purple, they have a blue. LA Colors came out with a blue and a purple. So this trend, I feel, and I've done looks with all of these, apparently green. I'm only waiting for green. I haven't seen green yet at Dollar Tree. I did hear that I think L'Oreal makes one, I think at the drugstore. But yeah, apparently like Dollar Tree has been ahead of this curve for quite some time now. So yeah, apparently colorful mascara is gonna be a thing. So if you do something a little more of the way of like a duochrome or pastel, you can pair it with a colorful mascara for a nice, fun effect. So I kind of predicted this when I did my full face of the cheapest drugstore makeup I could find. The cheapest lipstick I could find was Wet n Wild, and it was a frosted lipstick. And y'all, I wore frosted lipsticks in high school, and I went to high school in like the late 90s, early 2000s. I'm sure frosted lipstick was a thing before then, and it came back when I was in high school. Apparently, frosted lipstick is in fact coming back, along with, of course, the frosty eyeshadow look. Frosty makeup in general. Your marble blushes are all gonna be generally a little bit shimmery. Apparently bronzers, they're wanting a little bit more of a baked formula on bronzers. And of course your shimmery one and done look. The lips are gonna be no exception. So luckily I do have one. This is Dark Pink Frost from CVS. And another thing that is gonna be coming back with the lips is there's a couple different trends. And this one I'm super happy about. Apparently we're gonna start seeing darker lip liners, like hovering on the browns, like heavily lined brown lip liner again. And I really do hope this is true because I love this. So maybe you'll be able to find more dark lip pencils. I hope Dollar Tree follows suit. Until then, I use my LA Colors brow pencil and eyebrow pencil in one in dark brown and line the lips. Of course, I'm gonna be using my frosted lipstick. I try to go with a little bit of a light hand and then go in with the frosted lipstick. When I was in school, we had a lot of like ones that were like lilac and like bluish, like very icy. I don't know if there's going to be any particular shade that does come back, but there we go, kind of a frosted lipstick and a dark lip liner, like I said, apparently is coming back, along with, and this one's a little scary, apparently the concealer lip is coming back, but apparently not in the scary way. Like if you've been on the internet at all, you have seen this girl here. It's hilarious. But yeah, so apparently not like in such a strong way, but a little bit more subtle, and it'll probably have some kind of cute name, none of which I'm able to remember at the moment, but a little bit more of a subtle, more barely there type of a lip. So kind of more of like a flesh tone lip, but apparently it's going to be a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit less harsh than what we did. I don't even know what year that was. You know, it's just gonna be a little bit softer, a little bit less much than what we've done in the past. So not a super scary trend. I still like a bit of a lip color, but I think I could get on board even with the idea of the concealer lip if it's a little bit more softer, like what I think we're gonna be seeing, or what we're being told that we're gonna see. And then I didn't realize that this really went out, but apparently it did because it's coming back. The smoky eye, and specifically the black smoky eye. I guess, you know, of course you have more of like a brown and black smoky eye or a brown smoky eye. But apparently, yeah, the good old traditional cool toned black smoky eye is coming back. Of course, Dollar Tree's got you. You're not gonna always be able to find these from LA Colors. They'll usually come out with a quad that has similar tones to this, you know, your silvers, your whites, your blacks. But you can always find the LA Colors trio in Lily that has your black shadow right there, and you get your gray and your white as well. Of course, if you just find a black eyeshadow, but like In Vogue right here. This is the In Vogue palette. See all those shimmery shades that would make a beautiful one and done? You actually got 6 of them in there. That right there, more of like a charcoal type of smoky eye. So apparently that went out because it's coming back. And I don't always like a black smoky eye on me because I'm a little bit more warm toned. So it's a little cool for me, but it's really good for people with cool tone skin especially. And kind of going more with that cool tone as well. Apparently cool tone makeup in general is going to be really in this year. So if you are cool toned, hopefully you'll start seeing more makeup just in general at the drugstore and Ulta and all that kind of thing. Maybe we'll see more at Dollar Tree as well. I don't know. If not, there are things you can do. You know, like in the In Vogue palette, this shade right here is very cool tone. You know, you just have to find your like individual colors, you know what I mean? Like that shade there I would consider cool toned, you know, so you might not have like specifically a cool tone palette because they're hard to come by in general, but maybe you'll start seeing it a little bit more. And this is coming back with the lips as well. Apparently a cool tone mauve or pink lip is coming back. I guess out is like warm tone lips. But apparently there's this lipstick, I don't know what it's by, Eve's, I'll put the brand down here. They have a lipstick that apparently is like universally flattering to all skin tones. It's expensive, you know, it's a pricier brand. But it's like a cool tone mauve that's supposed to be flattering on everybody's skin tone. I don't really know. I do know sometimes when I put too warm of a like lipstick on my lips, like a nude, I tend not to like it. So this is something that I probably could experiment with myself personally. Although I'm not a huge fan of a mauve lip. I don't know, it's just always a little underwhelming to me. I always end up decluttering my mauve lip colors, but or most of them anyway. But apparently that's coming back. And then a couple more trends, and these are really not as much makeup oriented, but apparently what you're going to be seeing, and this is going to be, of course, not so much like a bargain makeup thing, but this is going to be a little bit more of like your higher end brands, you know, your Fenties and all that kind of thing. Makeup brands are going to be coming out with their own scents, or they already have. You know, of course, we already have lived through, and we're still living through celebrities and, you know, music artists coming out with perfumes and all that kind of thing. Now apparently it's going to be makeup brands in general, where of course if it's like Fenty Beauty or like Rare Beauty, of course that's like, we know who's behind those brands, they're artists, but apparently other brands as well. I'm sure like a Charlotte Tilbury, if she hasn't already, she'll come out with a fragrance and all that kind of thing. So it's not something I'm super interested in. I mean, if I were to smell a perfume and liked it, I'd buy it, but I'm not going to buy it because it's Fenty or something like that. You know what I mean? So apparently we're going to be seeing that quite a bit. And then the last one apparently is more simplified skincare. I know I'm guilty of this, doing, you know, taking my makeup off, then cleansing, and then putting a targeted treatment, then a serum, then an eye cream, then a lotion, and then sometimes I'll go slugging, so I'll put, you know, Aquaphor, Vaseline on, and, you know, all that kind of thing. Apparently what we're going to be seeing more is, rather than buying a serum that does one thing or a product that does one thing, apparently they're going to start selling products. And again, this is, even Dollar Tree, I'm seeing this, where they're coming out with serums that do all these different things. So they're going to be coming out with more skincare. You're just going to start seeing skincare where each product does a whole lot more, so you don't have to layer a bunch of stuff on your skin. So interesting. I don't know if it works better or not. That I don't know, but apparently that is in the list of trends, so I did want to give it a mention. So definitely let me know down below, like, which trends you're excited to see, which ones you want to come back. Of course, I have lots of viewers that are my age or older, and you have actually already seen some of these things come and go twice over, as I know I have already personally. But it's a great conversation. So of course, as always, talk to me. Let me know down in the comment section kind of what you think about this. I think this is really interesting. Like I said, I'm a little late, but better late than never. So of course, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.